It was just before sunrise, on November 10th, 2009, in Fayetteville, North Carolina. A 911 call came in. A woman claimed her 5-year-old daughter had been abducted from her home during the night. Her name was Antoinette Davis, and the missing child was Shaniya Davis. At first, it sounded like a heartbreaking case of a missing child, maybe a stranger abduction. Police responded quickly. The community rallied. Posters went up. News stations broadcast her picture nationwide. But as the hours passed, something didn't add up. Antoinette said Shaniya had been snatched from the couch while she was sleeping, but there were no signs of forced entry, no broken locks, no screams heard, and oddly, Antoinette's story kept changing. The father, Bradley Lockhart, hadn't been living with them. He had raised Shaniya for most of her life, but had recently allowed Antoinette, who had a troubled background, to take temporary custody. He believed she deserved a second chance. Voice becomes more serious. That decision would become a tragedy. As the investigation intensified, surveillance footage from a hotel blew the case wide open. There, on camera, was Mario Andret McNeill, a man with a long rap sheet, carrying Shaniya in his arms through a hotel hallway. She wasn't crying. She wasn't resisting. She looked exhausted, confused, maybe afraid. It was a haunting image, one that burned into the minds of millions who saw it on national TV. Mario claimed he had taken the girl on behalf of Antoinette, and shockingly, he was right. The truth was unthinkable. Antoinette Davis had sold her own daughter to pay off a drug debt. She willingly handed over her 5-year-old child to a man she barely knew, knowing exactly what he intended to do with her. In the following days, the police expanded their search to rural areas. Then came the worst news. 6 days after Shaniya was reported missing, her tiny body was found dumped off the side of a remote highway. She had been sexually assaulted and suffocated. The entire nation mourned. Candlelight vigils were held. Teddy bears and flowers lined the roads near where she was found. News anchors choked up delivering the story. She was 5 years old, innocent, full of life. She had dreams, and her own mother sold her to a predator. Voice softens, almost a whisper. In court, Mario McNeill showed no remorse. He was convicted of first-degree murder and rape of a child and sentenced to death in 2013. Antoinette Davis took a plea deal. She was sentenced to 17 years in prison for her role in human trafficking and child abuse. Many felt the sentence was far too light. There are many tragic cases in true crime, but few strike the soul like this one. Not just because of the brutality, but because of the betrayal. Shaniya Davis wasn't taken by a stranger lurking in the shadows. She was handed